All right. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be here with you, Jose Amaro. I'm so excited. How are you today?
Very well, thank you. And you?
Very good. Very good here from Sunshine, South Florida, actually in Boca Raton. And you are in Sunshine, Sao Paulo. So it's sunshine to sunshine.
Actually, we are in the winter, not sunshine, but it's a little cold today.
Oh, no, really? I did not know that. Okay, interesting. Very good. Okay, well, hello from Sunshine. Well, I'm so happy to be here with you this afternoon, having a great conversation about the role of human resources through COVID-19. As HR professionals, we had to pivot a lot of the processes that we have, and we normally have in place with corporations working day to day with the employees and side by side with them. But now with COVID-19, everything has changed tremendously. So I'm so honored to have you here, Jose Amaro from Sao Paulo, Brazil. You work as an HR director for Ticket, a global corporation, and you have many, many years of experience in human resources. So thank you for being a part of this project called Confessions of an HR Professional, which is a platform where we talk about the things that HR professionals sometimes don't want to talk about. So that's why it's called Confessions of HR Professionals, because right now we're just so hungry to hear from HR professionals and see what they're doing and how they're growing through these times. And you're an expert, so I'm happy to have you here. So tell us about yourself. Tell us about what you do at Ticket and a little bit about your career history.
Okay, thank you very much. My career started at Pricewaterhouse as an auditor. It's not a usual career. I changed to HR area after 16 years. I have been working in human resource area for the last 16 years. And I worked for several companies actually in different segments, in different sizes, in different cultural styles, uh, like electronic industry, like retail, telecom, advertising agents. And now I'm in the last 6 years, I have been working for Ticket, as you said before. Ticket is a French multinational company of the presenting around about 46 countries around the world, and Brazil is the biggest subsidiary of Edenred. And here in Brazil, we have 2,400 employees, and we are presenting all the states of the country. So the core business of the Ticket is to sell meal vouchers to be used to buy foods in restaurants and supermarkets. So you can imagine we are facing a very dramatic situation due to the virus contamination.
I can only imagine. And as you said, you work for Ticket actually provides services to 40 countries in the whole world. So this is a huge footprint. So I can only imagine how many lives these changes have impacted.
That's
So
right.
so since the coronavirus and the COVID-19 started, which is in March, a lot of things have changed. Well, especially here in the US, and I can only imagine in Brazil. So here in the US, as of today, and we're coming in here into the beginning of July, we had 2 million confirmed cases. So when we started the pandemic, it was just this urgency mode where everything pretty much shut down as far as the businesses, and only the essential businesses remain open. And that changed everything. A lot of people obviously had to stay home and work remotely, and then try to engage with one another when it comes to the workplace. So that's a different dynamic that happens there. So we started with that, and it was a huge wave. And then after that, we pivoted, and then now we're in a position where a lot of other businesses are back to opening, and essential businesses continue to open. The beach here in Florida was open, and that I believe attracted many to come here, and in the cases went up. So now we're back to closing the beaches, and trying to remain with social distancing in all other guidelines. But let's talk about Brazil currently. What's happening with Brazil? Where's the country right now? I believe we went to two phases, so to speak. Are you still on that phase one? What's happening with the country at this point?
Okay. Well, the pandemic here started on middle of March, and the government has obligated the stores close the doors, except the pharma and the essential service. And the curve of the contamination is speeding up each time. And we in the companies, we are working remotely. The majority of the companies are still working 100% at home, and the government have defined different measures, taking account that the reality of the states is very different, because Brazil is very large, it's very big, and each state has a different situation, and the government have the intensity of the measures is different for each state. So in the last 3 months, we are in the social distance. It's like a lockdown, and the majority of the business are closed, and the companies are suffering the impacts of the virus. So we start to reopen some business as from beginning of July, and since, for instance, the restaurants, some shops, but we are still afraid about the impacts of these soft measures. For the second could be bring the second wave of the contamination.
Exactly. And I think we passed that, so to speak, that phase of opening, and are we going to open and we're not going to open, and we finally did, and we are seeing the results of that, which is just the increase on that level of people with the virus. But as far as human resources, I think you mentioned something that I wanted to touch base on. As an HR professional, you overseeing 2,400 employees. That's a big task, especially in these times. I'm sure you have a big team that supports you. How do you make sure that your employees are engaged at this time, and being remote? I know for experience working with leaders in big organizations, for the most part, they were worried about not having that control of their employees, with the fact that if they can't see them every single day, they feel that they don't have that control or they don't have that visibility, and they struggle with that. And my personal opinion as an HR professional is you lead by productivity. So if your employees are giving you what they're supposed to give you, they're producing, they have their metrics, they have to provide results, then it's okay to manage a remote workforce. But sometimes it becomes a little challenging. So is that the same situation that's happening with you and your team at Ticket from what you're doing in Brazil? And if you want to share what other countries also are doing in those 40 countries that you work with, you can definitely share.
Yeah, basically here in Brazil, actually we have been working with the by home office model in the last 15 years, actually, mainly to the commercial teams for the commercial areas. So we didn't have many problems to adapt the other areas, the other employees to this new model. We had a very good support from IT area, providing IT tools and equipments, proper equipments to keep alive. And I think the main point to take care is provide a good level of communications, providing good meetings, frequently meetings with the teams, with the general management, sharing the targets, sharing the tasks. And by the way, we launched a survey, and we had a very positive results related to productive. We 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 saw that the productive has increased in this kind of this style of working, and the level of deliverables were very good. And by the way, we are thinking to implement this kind of work and to increase the remote work after the pandemic. I think will be a trend, and all the companies here are think about the new normal to implement the remotely working. So in summary, I can tell you that we have a very good surprise about the productive, about the engagement of the employees, about the results, the tasks. We didn't face many problems about the distance of the employees.
And I think that you touch base on something really important is that we have a new normal, and companies that had adopted this remote work ahead of time are seeing that this is an advantage for them because it's not so much of a challenge. They're already ahead of the curve versus others that are trying to figure it out how this is going to work. And I can see from what you're saying, it's something that's provided great results to you and your organization and the employees. And now it comes into another topic, which is now other companies are going to look into this as the new normal, the new way to do business. And unfortunately, this is going to affect a lot of organizations on their physical spaces because it's not longer going to be needed in some cases. But it also will open the opportunity for many opportunities for network. For instance, you and I having this conversation in Miami, you're in Brazil. Why can't we just work together? And there's no limit because we have technology, and it's opened so many doors.